some ways to make healthy food choices. When it comes to staying healthy, losing weight, and things of that nature, you people need to strive for healthy, nutritious food. However, in this day and age, it is kind of impossible for a lot of people, or should I say average people, because they tend to excessively consume on those junk foods. So with that being said, this video is made for you people, for those who are wanting to lose weight and or become healthier, right? So let's get into it. Number one is to focus on whole foods. Whole foods are much healthier than those junk foods that you get from fast foods and that is already made to eat. You know what I'm saying? That you get from grocery stores and stuff like that. Whole foods are the closest thing to nature, okay? Because they're not being modified, they're not being messed around with, right? So you want to go for the things that are organic and that are fresh, okay? Nothing that is preserved or that contains additives or chemicals. Whole foods such as lean meats or lean proteins, vegetables, fruits, nuts, seeds, stuff like that are whole foods. Anything that is, that is made within nature, right? You want to be striving for those. When it comes to the meats, right? You want to go for the lean cut meats. You want to go for the organic meats, right? You don't want to have stuff like that that's like frozen per se, or that is like deep fried. You want to go for the healthy meats, right? So no deli meats, those are processed. You want to go for the organic meats, and they're a little bit more expensive, but they will definitely do you justice at the end of the day in the long run, because you are nourishing your body rather than hurting your body, right? And whole foods contains all of the essential and vital nutrients that will properly nourish yourself or properly nourish the human body, whereas the junk foods that you people consume on a daily basis don't nourish the body at all, and you're not getting any good nutrients in. So as a result, people end up becoming unhealthy and obese. So that is that. If you're not eating whole foods, then that's your issue, because you're always striving for those junk foods that contain no good nutrients at all. And those junk foods contain a lot of calories, excessive amounts of sugar, sodium, and other harmful things that we shouldn't be consuming on a day-to-day basis, okay? Tip number two is to read food labels, okay? So if you don't know anything about like whole foods and what is healthy, what is unhealthy, you people should be reading the nutrition labels. The nutrition label gives you a breakdown, an insight of that specific food that you're consuming or that you're going to consume, right? Every product has a nutrition label. It will give you a breakdown of the protein, fats, and carbs, the calorie count, the sodium count, the sugar count, all of that good stuff, right? And all the ingredients. So you get to dictate whether if the ingredients are good or bad. You know, the chemicals, the additives, the preservatives, so on and so forth. You get to read them and understand them, and then from there, you make the obvious choice what you should be striving for, right? So for example, let's give you a scenario. You go to the grocery store and you're reading, I don't know, some cereal nutrition labels. You're trying to dictate which is healthier than the other, right? So you're reading other nutrition labels. You're looking through the sugar count. You're looking at the calorie count, okay? And from that, it will give you an advantage to lose weight and to become healthier, because you know what is healthy and what is unhealthy now, right? Tip number three is to plan ahead. A lot of people who don't plan their meals or have a eating habit in place, or schedule in place, people tend to excessively consume at the end of the day, or indulge at the end of the day, I should say. A lot of people indulge at night because they don't eat in the day or throughout the day. A lot of people like to starve themselves, and at the end of the day they end up indulging excessively, and as a consequence, you're consuming all of those calories. You will gain weight and you will impact your health if it's bad food that you're striving for or that you are indulging in. So if you just plan ahead, you will combat all of that, because you already know what you're going to eat, You already know what you're striving for. You have a goal in your mind. You have a goal, a realistic goal that could be approachable on a day-to-day basis. And from this, it will enforce you to continue with this type of, protocol, to plan ahead, to not fall off track, to stay on track, to keep embracing this journey. Because if you're all over the place, if you have bad habits all over the place, then you're not going to achieve whatever you're trying to achieve. So that is that. Tip number 4 is to control your portion sizes. So this is very important to understand, but then again, it's kind of tedious and difficult to go about because a lot of people don't understand nutrition. But when it comes to your portions, you people should have a balanced, proportional meal within each nutrition group, if that makes any sense, right? So you just don't want to have all carbs and a little bit of protein. No, right? You don't want to have all protein and a little bit of carbs. No, you want to have a variety of everything. That should be balanced, okay? So your proteins, your fats, and your carbs should be all balanced. So you got a section of protein, you got a section of fats, you got a section of carbs. That is controlling your portions, your sizes, your portion size, right? People who are overweight tend to excessively indulge. They stuff. You know what I mean? So if you control your eating habits and plan ahead, right, you will prevent overeating because you already know when's your next meal. You already know what you're striving for, and you have a goal in mind. And when you have everything planned, right, you will prevent all of this. And this is why I mentioned planning ahead is very good. Planning ahead goes with anything in life, with relationships, with business, with whatever the case might be. Planning ahead always does good. Always. Tip number 5, drink plenty of water. Okay, water contains 0 calories, and it's a filling thing. It makes you full. Okay, so that will also prevent overeating, from indulging on junk foods and so on and so forth. Water is very good. A lot of people are dehydrated. So I highly recommend drinking more water, especially if you're not consuming water at all, or hardly consuming water, I should say. Alright, tip number 6 is to use healthy cooking methods, okay? So you should be baking, roasting, or grilling instead of frying. And you people should be using healthy fats, such as olive oil and or avocado oil, instead of butter or margarine, okay? So a lot of people like to deep fry their foods, use unhealthy fats, but that's because, when you're shopping for like oils and whatnot, some oils can be expensive, some are cheap. So a lot of people like to go for the cheap option or for the cheap route, but they don't understand that the cheap oils have an impact on our bodies. So take note of that. And tip number 7, okay, which is very important, people, and that is practice mindful eating. I've stressed this a lot throughout my mindful eating is very important because it makes you realize and aware of what you're doing, of what you're consuming, and how it's going to impact your body, or how it's going to benefit your body. Not impact, that's a negative term, but how it's going to benefit your body. Because everything that we, consume, or put in our bodies, it's for a benefit. It's not just because, oh, it's tasty, let me consume this. Like soda. Okay, soda's tasty, right? Sure. But is it beneficial? No. So therefore, should you consume things that are very tasty and very, likable? No, because it's not beneficial for the body. So you want to be aware, you want to be conscious of what you're consuming and how you're consuming and what's doing to your body. And from this, it gives you a mental clarity of nutrition. It's going to give you a clarity of yourself, of your health, of your weight, and so on and so forth. Nutrition overall impacts your whole body as a whole. It impacts your mental state, your physical state, your spiritual state, everything of that nature. Your power, your energy levels, everything. Okay, so if you're not paying attention to proper nutrition, then you're missing out on life and many other things. But That's about it, people. When it comes to making healthy food choices, it's not all about like removing a lot of food groups or removing a lot of food. It's all about balancing, moderation, self-control, and just striving for healthy foods. If you strive for healthy foods on a day-to-day basis, you could reward yourself here and there with junk foods or junk stuff. Okay? Like for me, for example, I like to get everything done first, right? Such as my workouts, eating healthy, have some vegetables, have some healthy foods, on a day-to-day basis. And at the end of the day, at dinner time, I will reward myself with a soda, with a glass of you know, juice or something, because we cannot 100% refrain from like junk foods. We can't, unless you're fucking, Superman or some shit. But in my opinion, if you try to do that, you will go insane and you will rebound. So by just treating yourself, or rewarding yourself, I should say, not treating, reward yourself if you've done something good. But you got to stay consistent with these good habits. You can't just be rewarding yourself just because. You got to stay consistent with these good habits and then reward yourself, right? So if you were to do that, you would know that you're doing a good thing and that this is the proper way to do this. Otherwise, if you're constantly indulging on junk foods, you're harming yourself, and you will end up becoming unhealthy and fat and ugly and so on and so forth. And that's it, people. Thanks for watching. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave it down below in the comment section. Please subscribe to my channel to stay tuned in. Check out my social medias. You guys can also PM me there. Message me on there if you like. And I'll catch you in the next video.